If you know me, if you know my channel, you already know that I love super compact lenses and I love 40mm. So when 7Artisans contacted me to ask me if I wanted to test and review their brand new 40mm F2.5 LITE lens for the Nikon Z or Z mount, my answer had to be a resounding yes. Now, this lens is already available for the Sony E mount and it gets launched today for the Nikon Z or Z mount, and it will come at some point for the L mount Alliance. I use this lens for my everyday stuff. I took street photography pictures. I really used it a lot in these weeks leading up to this release day, and I enjoyed every second of it because of its compact size and super lightweight, and also because of its optical qualities, with an asterisk that we're going to discuss later in this video. From a construction standpoint, this lens weighs nothing. It's super compact and it weighs only 90 to 97 grams depending on the mount that you get it. And also, even if it's sold at only $159 or 134 euros, you get a couple of features that you usually don't get at this price range, which are the aperture ring. Of course, you get also the manual focus ring, that goes without saying. You get the aperture ring, you get an autofocus manual focus switch, and you also get a custom function button on the side of the lens. Now, given the real estate of the lens, all those things are very compact, very close to each other. You couldn't do it in any other way. And as a bonus, you also get on the back a metal mount with a USB-C port to update the firmware. Now, the lens is built of plastic. You couldn't expect at this price, at this weight, the lens to be built of metal or anything like that. But it doesn't feel cheap in the end, and there's nothing wrong with the way the lens feels. You also get a square hood included in the kit that you get sold, and the front cap fits inside the square hood, so you don't have to worry about having two different lens caps or stuff like that. The front filter is a 46mm. It's a little bit unusual. 46mm usually get 43 or 49. This is 46. I don't think you're going to be using many filters with this lens, but if you need to, you have to have a 46mm filter. From a construction standpoint, you can't really complain, and it pairs incredibly well with compact cameras like the Nikon Zf or the Panasonic S9 whenever the L-mount version is going to become available, or also the Sony A7C line, for which this lens is already available. From an optical standpoint, this lens at this price point is quite surprising because the lens is already sharp wide open with also sharp corners, which you would not expect at this price point and with this size. The lens, of course, as you stop down, gets a little bit better. It gets perfectly fine at f4. You get corner-to-corner sharpness. The vignetting that was present at f2.5, it's basically gone by the time you get to f4 to f5.6. And as you stop it down, you don't get much more sharpness out of the lens because the lens is already very sharp, already wide open. But you get the best between f4 and f8. The lens gets up to f16, but of course, once you get to f11, the lens is still usable, but you see some diffraction. And if you get to f16, you can kind of feel the diffraction kicking in and diminishing the quality of the lens itself. From a chromatic aberration standpoint, again, surprising result. You don't see much. I didn't have anything to complain about when it comes to chromatic aberration. It's all very well controlled. Even the bokeh, for a lens this compact, this lightweight, this inexpensive, the bokeh is pretty nice. It's smooth. The lens overall has a character that makes you enjoy what you get, at least make me enjoy what I got out of this lens. The only optical issue that I found with this lens, which has to be expected, is the resistance to flare. This is the Achilles heel for this lens because this lens shows a pretty visible amount of flaring whenever you're shooting into a strong source of light. Now, you may like what you get, but it's definitely going to be visible. It's not a subtle flaring. You get a pretty strong flaring. Of course, you can correct it by moving your frame just with an angle, and you're gonna get rid of that, but it's something you need to face. And sometimes you get a little more of a subtle flare that reduces the contrast in the center of the image. But again, you're talking about $159, 124 euros lens sold new. And by the way, go check the link in the description if you want to purchase this lens. And yes, it's something you need to be aware of. It's not something I would be too worried about, because I don't think you're getting a $100 lens to deliver professional product to a client. So if this is for your own pleasure, for your own shooting stuff, I wouldn't mind much about that. Now, when it comes to autofocus, usually with third-party lenses, especially very inexpensive lenses, you may find issues here and there. Honestly, however, with this lens, I didn't find that many. I didn't miss that many shots. Yes, I missed a couple, but again, I usually say the ZF is a good autofocus, but it's not perfect. And I keep missing onesies or twosies with every lens that I tried, regardless of the brand. So it can't be the lens's fault. The lens, compared to all other third-party lenses, felt really good when it comes to autofocus accuracy. Of course, the speed is not the fastest. They couldn't put super fast linear motors in such a small body. They are STM, but they're good. You can hear them a little bit, but it's nothing that worries me or should worry you when it comes to enjoying the experience with this lens. When it comes to video, this lens, of course, in my opinion, is more of a stills lens, more than a video lens, but it can shoot video. The only thing is the autofocus there, you can definitely hear it if you have a microphone next to the lens, but also the transitions are not the smoothest, and you have quite a bit of focus breathing if you're going from close focusing distance to infinite focusing distance. But that's to be expected. Having a lens like this being completely corrected also for focus bleeding would have been a little bit too much. So again, for personal stuff, you can also use it for video. If you're looking for a professional lens, you shouldn't be looking at this price range, because there's nothing in this price range that is meant to be used for professional stuff. And so in conclusion, while 7Artisans sent me this lens to test and review and I get to keep it, I am really pleased with the result that I got, regardless of this perk that I have. I didn't get paid for this review. The only thing that I'm getting is the lens. Do with that what you want. I usually try to be as honest as possible in my reviews. I pointed out the flaws with this lens. But again, at $159, 134 euros, what 7Artisan brought to the table is something that is not available with any other lens, because there's no Pancake 40mm lenses in the market right now, and they're doing it at a super competitive price with very good image quality besides the flare, and with a lot of features that you usually don't get in a lens like this. So would I recommend this lens? My answer to that question is a yes. As long as you're using it for your own photography, if you're using for your own project where you don't have to deliver a final product to a specific client, this lens makes a lot of sense. It makes your camera super portable. The ZF is pretty heavy for being a compact camera. This lens, basically you put this lens on the camera, you only feel the camera. You don't feel the lens at all. And the fact that it's super slim when it comes to the shape makes it easy to carry it around, makes it easy to make room for another lens, for another focal length, just because this lens disappears in the overall package. So in my opinion, you shouldn't, if you like 40mm, if you like Pancake lenses and you are on a very tight budget, this lens has everything you can possibly ask, as long as you are aware that when it comes to flaring, you need to be watching the flare in your image. Again, in my opinion, not a big deal. So for me, it's highly recommended. I hope this video helped you understanding whether this lens is for you or not. I would like you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I would like you to leave me a like, a thumbs up, call it whatever you want, and hype this video up a little bit, because it helps me grow this channel and bring you even more content like this or like all the others that you find in my channel. Ciao, grazie, and I'll see you in the next one.